Here we go. My number 10. I love the variety when it comes to living here in the United States. Every state has something different to offer, and obviously, there's a couple different entries I'm going to use this approach for. But first, kind of politically, all right. And here's what I mean by that. There are important political stances that people are must-haves, all right, for various people. Gun laws and abortion rights and unemployment insurance, not like a socialism type approach, but like taxes going to people for those in need. You have the option to go where you want to go. If there are some places where there's some people who love living in a place like New York State or love living in California. All right, those are the kind of ideal places to be. There's a lot of things. Yes, you pay higher taxes, but there's a lot of amenities. There's a lot of services that you receive on the other end of it. Some people like paying no state taxes, all right, and having freedom in a lot of other avenues, all right, like a Florida or a Texas. Okay, there's all sorts of various needs, and whatever your needs are, whatever the things are that are most important to you, you can move to a state like that. You can move to a state that reinforces that embellishes it. And this is why I like the states system so much. I'm a big proponent of state freedom. All right, I don't like big government. States' rights, state freedom, for the most part, is a very important factor to me. And it's different everywhere. Every state has different taxes, different laws, et cetera, et cetera. All right, and you are free within your financial, reasoning to go to a state that works best for you. And there's a lot of options out there. There's 50 of them. So there is that. I know that if my circumstances were a little different, I probably would not choose to live in New York. There's a lot of other easy living places that I would definitely move to. I don't like the excess of taxes, even though there is a lot of great things here. There's a lot of wonderful aspects here. It's a give or take with every single state, but I would not choose to live in New York State if I had a choice right now. But that is my number 10, is the freedom of choice to live where you like. My number 9. I love the various cultures that make up America. Okay, I love that every single town, city, county, state has their own cultures and traditions. All right, some are highly populated from one spot, like Louisiana, New Orleans, for example. A lot of French influence, down there, and the culture's fun. That's why millions of people go down there for Mardi Gras every year. California, they're like beach culture. All right, like I love the idea of like Venice Beach and the like from back in the day, the beach workouts. Like I think that's so much fun. There's culture. There's different cultures everywhere. Food is a fun one. That's variety. Sports. Every kind of region has like an important sports where they identify with more so than other things. Traditions, so much more. And this is why my ultimate dream vacation is just a cross country road trip, because I want to go and enjoy all of those things. I would love to go from county to county, state to state, and experience what makes those states so special, so unique. It's really it's a very cool thing, and again, that's why I love the idea of states and different laws, different cultures. So that's my number 9, is the variety of cultures that are all around here, that make the melting pot that makes America so unique and special. My number 8, it's the freedom of religion, the freedom of sexuality, the freedom of expression, all that stuff. It's It's amazing. There's a lot of countries that have a state religion. You're not allowed to have a certain sexual orientation. You're not allowed to express yourself in certain ways. All right, wear clothes a certain way. You're not allowed to protest a certain way. There's a lot of places in the world that are like that, and it's restrictive. It's not free. And I know this place has its quirks when it comes to those sort of things. It's definitely not perfect, but the law, for the most part, protects the rights to do that. It adds to the melting pot culture of it all, that we can do all of these things. We can protest, all right, within reason, peacefully protest, peacefully assemble and protest things that we don't like without things getting too out of control. It's a uniqueness that most modern countries do have, yes, and we've come a long way to get to this point. So I'm very, very proud of that, to have that ability. So that is my number 8. My number 7. Now, granted, it's ugly, it's imperfect, but as somebody who loves history, especially U.S. history, the story of the United States can't make it up in some cases. You certainly can't make it up. Every action or non-action that someone from a previous era has done can be effective or affect down the road. All right, it's the U.S. history is made up of a lot of great people, a lot of bad people, but a lot of great people, great stories of triumph. The literally chasing the promised American dream, and making things happen, progressing in the right direction. I've read so many books on U.S. history. It really is it was my favorite subject in school, and it's my favorite thing to read about, to learn about. There's always something. There's always some new caveat to learn about. And while some people like to twist things and change them to fit a certain narrative, depending on which side you are on, it's U.S. history is largely a very interesting thing, and something that I crave. I crave understanding to be a better person now. So we've come a long way in nearly 250 years. America has come a very, very long way, and there's a lot more work to do, but I'm proud of how far we've come. All right, and hopefully things will continually progress in the right direction. That's my number 7. All right, my number 6. It's American ingenuity. It's inventions, things that help change the world and make it a better place. Every country, just about, has some kind of contribution to the world in hopes of changing things for the better. And America has had plenty of that. So I want to read off some. I have a source here, inventiongen.com. All right, I want to read off some of the most important inventions that America has contributed to the world, just so I have it all ready to go. All right, the light bulb. That's pretty important. We all still use light bulbs. I'm getting blinded by light bulbs, technically speaking. They're very warm. It's very hot in here, but light bulbs. All right, the telephone. It's how we all communicate. It connected all of us, for better or for worse, in some cases. The airplane is very, very important for travel. I think many of us have all been on airplanes. The assembly line, which has helped, manufacturing take bigger steps. Transistor, polio vaccine, the internet, for better or for worse, the PC, GPS, World Wide Web, which is, I guess, is a little different than the internet, simply the internet. 3D printing, which is pretty cool. And there's some other things too. All right, there's Kodak film, Kodak invented film. All right, taking pictures, which has been a big part of my life, amongst other things. All right, amongst other things, suspension bridges, phonographs, potato chips, traffic lights, and a lot more, for better or for worse. America has paved the way for a lot of important things that sometimes we take for granted, and yeah, so that's something to be proud of there. That's my number 6. My number 5, I'm going to go back in time to history, and it is the Civil War. All right, and no, I'm not talking about the Confederates at all. I'm proud that this country was able to will itself together, and even though it wasn't perfect upon reunification post-Civil War and the Reconstruction time period, our union held together. It eventually came back together through the will of many great leaders. All right, Abraham Lincoln, William Tecumseh Sherman, and Ulysses S. Grant. People within Abraham Lincoln's cabinet. All right, there's a lot, and just a lot of great people had to step up to preserve this union, to get it on the right track. It was a very important reset for America. And again, it wasn't perfect. All right? It took a long time for there's still a lot of issues today that stem from the Civil War, all right, that weren't addressed properly. But the fact that when it needed to happen, all right, I couldn't imagine having two countries right now in this where America is today. I couldn't fathom it, and it's one of the proudest things that like I can definitely say, hey, I'm a union guy. All right, like I'm glad that the United States figured it out in some sense, and got to mend together a little bit. So, the triumph of the Civil War. That is my number 5. Number 4, I'm going to put nature. All right, I'm going to put the nature of our country, the United States. All right, this is something that I do not take for granted. And again, I don't love living in New York State, but the geography, a lot of the different places in nature are really quite beautiful. And it's not just New York State, it's all across the country. Various lakes, rivers, waterfalls, woods, all right, mountainous regions. All right, there's a lot to see. There's a lot to love and appreciate. And I'm grateful for those who pushed forward a protection of our environment. You know, the Teddy Roosevelts and so many more. Protect the parks. I love and adore that we have so much beautiful nature that we can go out and enjoy anytime we want to. I'm very fortunate to live right like a few minutes away from one of the biggest waterfall, I think the biggest waterfall in North America, or if not mistaken, one of the biggest. All right, and I can go sit by a lake, sit by a river, go explore the woods anytime I want, anytime I so choose. And I'm very, very grateful that I get to live in a place with so much. And then I can go to another state and go and experience their variety of nature. So that's my number 4, is the nature of the United States, the natural world that we get to, we get to be around. My number 3 is a moment, and it's heartbreaking, but it was the last time that I felt like our country was truly unified. And it was September 11th and after September 11th. And while I'm not advocating here for what happened, but the way that our country comes together in moments of peril like that, waking up after September 11th, it was scary. Like, I felt like the whole world had changed, and I think it's been on a not great course since then. Nonstop peril. It just life feels very noisy since 9/11. But when you wake up and everybody has flags everywhere, there's a real sense of pride in America. It didn't matter if you were blue or red, you were an American. and we all loved each other. And I don't know how we would react as a country if that were to happen today. I don't. And I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see any more terrorist attacks. I don't want to see any I legit don't want to see anybody die. I don't. But I don't know how we'd react. Would it be politicized? Would people be blaming the other side for something that has transpired? I don't know, but it certainly feels that way. It certainly feels that way. But there was a great feeling of togetherness after 9/11 for a few years until George Bush and several other bigwigs in our government decided to take that togetherness and go invade a country that had nothing to do with what we were doing, at least as far as I know. Like, as far as, it had nothing to do with September 11th. Like, and it's so sad because I know a lot of people who went and served in Iraq and some of these other places, and maybe I just don't fully understand. But I really felt like that the rug got pulled out from underneath us in feeling together, in feeling united as one country, as Americans. And yeah, so that's my number 3, is that post September 11th unity that we got to experience. And I wish it didn't come at the death of thousands of Americans in the World Trade Towers or on any of the airplanes, but there was something special and magical about that time, and it was the last time that we all could feel pride to be an American. And I hope I didn't rub anyone the wrong way with the way I described it. I hope you understand where I was coming from with that. I wish it was that peaceful again. I wish we were all together again like that. So that's my number 3. The number 2 entry is the fact that I can be whatever I want. And I think a lot of people can be whatever they want to be. All right. We put these walls up. We put these borders up in front of our own selves. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people who want to feel oppressed and say that they can't do something, but they can actually do it if they really put in the work. And I know that it's getting harder and harder to achieve in this country, but every choice, good and bad, that I've made has led me to where I am at today. I've talked about this in plenty of my Mirrorless Monday videos, maybe some of my Funless Friday videos. But I have always had opportunity. And sometimes you got to work a little harder. It is what it is. That is the evolution of finding success in America. All right. I wasn't going to be a success story spending the rest of my life working at Target or flagging cars down in a parking lot by Niagara Falls. All right. If I wanted to be something greater than I already am, then greater than how I feel, then I needed to I needed to do great things. I needed to go be an amazing athlete, or go find an invention that changed the world. Go find a way, invent a way to make people's lives easier, and go through with it. I could have been anything that I wanted, and I still can to this day. I still believe that I can. If I really put in the work, I can be whatever I want to be. And that goes for a lot of other people too. And whether you feel it or not, if you put in the work, it has been proven time and time again, it does not matter your sexuality, your race, your gender, that you can be whatever it is that you want to be. So that's my number 2. And my number 1 is the American Revolution, the spirit of it. It has given us such a revolutionary, feisty personality, all right, an aura about us. The revolutionary spirit of America has never really slowed down. All right, we see it all the time. We're protesting against our own government often, but people don't understand the importance of the American Revolution. It is one of the most important revolutions in the world because it set off an age of revolution. All right. France was inspired by the American Revolution. And while it led to the Jacobins and the Reign of Terror and eventually Napoleon, they for a little while they pushed out monarchy and had things on the right track. France has had a lot of turmoil and turnover over the years. It's just a very unstable country. It has been. Central America, there was a lot of revolution in Central and South America that was inspired by the American Revolution. Suddenly people were talking about democracy or talking about establishing a republic for the people. And it's crazy when you see some of the ages of the Americans who were leading the cause. Yes, you had the Ben Franklins and George Washingtons of the world. But a lot of our, the Thomas Jeffersons, the James Madisons, the James Monroes, a lot of those folks, John Adams, they were young. And they just did it. They went out there and did the damn thing and set us on the course for what we are today, for better or for worse. But they went out and did it. They took destiny and grabbed it by the balls and went after it. All right. The American Revolution is so critically important for the world, and especially our country. Everything that good that's come out of it. The Constitution being one of the most important documents in world history. How amendable it is. So instead of our country, falling apart every time something change needs to happen, we can amend our laws and become a better version of ourselves than we were before. And there's just the myth, the legend around the American Revolution is it's my number one and a big part of why I am proud to be an American. All right, I'm very, very proud of how far we've come. I can't say that enough. Very, very proud of what we can be, what we will be. All right. We got to stay the course. And hopefully, down the road, we'll all be better for it. Hopefully this country will be better for it. Maybe once again, it could be the shining example, a beacon of hope, as it once was, as it can still be to this day for many people. But I'm done ranting and rambling. I've talked enough. And I hope I wasn't too confusing. This was a very stressful episode to put together because I did have each and every one of your thoughts, feelings, reactions in mind.